Sup, fam? It's Richie from Social Sociopath. And today, I want to talk about a certain subject that I have not seen anyone else really fully flesh out or talk about a lot. And it involves a very popular YouTuber by the name, or several names, widely known as Filthy Frank, Pink Guy, Joji, and his real name, George Miller, according to Wikipedia. And I'm sure some of you are familiar with his work. It's Filthy Frank. And he is incredibly edgy, inappropriate, a kind of curator of new memes, and as of about a few months ago, non-existent. And the process of a YouTuber completely changing their content or totally leaving their channel altogether is not an irregular thing. It happens all the time. Practically every month I see a big YouTuber just kind of disappear out of thin air or go through a crisis or just want to do something else with their life. And that's totally fine. It's all good. But the way George, or I guess he goes by Joji now, the way Joji did his whole transition, or at least kind of, I guess he's currently transitioning, it really struck me as incredibly interesting that I wanted to kind of comment on. So for those of you confused, George Miller has three main characters in his whole universe. They are separate entities, they are separate channels, they kind of just categorize his whole content output. One is Pink Guy, which is the more musical, meme-related thing. It's kind of an extension of the Filthy Frank universe, whereas Filthy Frank is his most popular character with 5.5 million subscribers, and that's mostly skit-based, but it's also super-duper vulgar, probably some of the most vulgar stuff on YouTube. And then he has Joji, which is his more artistic, serious side. Not discrediting Filthy Frank or Pink Guy for their artistic merit. I'm just saying that Joji is I guess, more subtle. And they've all kind of existed harmoniously for a few years now, at least since I would say about 2014 or so, maybe earlier than that. But recently, Joji put out a statement on his Twitter, which everybody saw coming. He only posts on the Filthy Frank channel once, maybe every 3 months or so, and for someone with such hype around them, he can post a video and have a couple million views in a couple hours, but you could just tell that his heart probably isn't in it, and he probably just doesn't enjoy the content, or at least making the content anymore, and this confirms it with this statement, which reads like this. Although previously mentioned through Billboard, I believe an official statement as to why I am now done with comedy is owed to my former fan base, of which I'm extremely grateful for, and while it genuinely pains me to express this, I do hope that the reasons below may provide some insight into my decision. Unfortunately, I no longer enjoy producing that content. Several serious health issues, including not limited for throat tissue damage and neurological conditions that I prefer not to get into. But he actually has gotten into that before in a video where he did go out of character once. It was, I believe it was one of his first times ever doing it when he was popular, and he says that he kind of has this neurological condition that makes him have seizures, and one of the silly bits with Pink Guy is he would go into public spaces and seize for some reason, which would actually trigger real seizures, and that is bad.
Can I have a pussy, please?
So now that you're all caught up on Filthy Frank, I know a lot of people don't like him, but I appreciate his content. I think he's very funny. I've done reaction videos to him, and I think he's influenced a lot of the more vulgar side of YouTube. But unfortunately, I think a lot of this is to do with the adpocalypse, which has been happening over the past year, and creators like Filthy Frank or George Miller or the Pink Guy albums, while they can survive on iTunes, and he did chart on Billboard, he sold tens of thousands of copies when it first came out. It's kind of ridiculous if you think about it, but a creator like that on YouTube, there's just no way you can survive. All your videos are demonetized, and it's impossible. And at first, I wasn't familiar with Joji's original music. It's not really rap. I guess it's like melodic hip hop. It's like melodic rap. He's not really rapping. He's like sing talking. It's not bad. I'm not the biggest fan of it in general, but the artistic qualities of it are actually really good. It's really aesthetically pleasing. It's sad, which I'm all about. And just the idea that someone with this much pull and this much of a following can totally just be like, no, I'm done with comedy. I mean, I know y'all love the comedy, but no, I'm fucking done with it. I don't want to do that anymore. It's very bold, and it's actually kind of empowering seeing someone like that follow what they're passionate about.
I was doing music hand in hand with the comedy stuff. The Pink Eye music started the same time as Filthy Frank, but I just didn't know if people would embrace the serious stuff. I wish I had the confidence, the self-confidence to switch earlier, because now it's working out pretty well.
Clearly he didn't want to do it anymore, and he's not gonna bullshit everyone. He doesn't want to do it anymore, so he's doing what he wants, which is these more artistically driven videos and content and music. My reaction to one of these replies to this Twitter statement was kind of what prompted me to make this video. It reads, from Nerd City, Squints, we reject your resignation. We offer a compromise. Just one lore video or rant every 2 months and no more mock seizure pranks ever. And in return, we'll continue supporting all Joji music to the fullest. Press like the sign. And it has almost 5,000 likes or favorites. Now, I understand the reasoning behind this comment. It's like, oh, it's not that hard just to make a quick rant video or his kind of less production-based videos and just do Filthy Frank, well, like kind of how he's been doing once every 3 months. But the problem with that is that if his heart isn't in it, and he can afford, which is a big point, he can afford to just do Joji, he's going to do that. He's not going to do things that he doesn't give a shit about, which is clearly the Filthy Frank and Pink Guy character. Regardless of how fire Pink season was, you can't force that kind of stuff, and I think that's really important as an artist to follow what you're passionate about. And I think the choice is ultimately up to your fan base, whether they respect your new stuff or not, and whether they choose to follow you or not, because obviously a lot of people aren't going to follow him over to the whole Joji thing. But I recently took a look at one of his newer music videos for a song called Demons, and the music video was beautiful. It said so much by saying so little. Man, art school. And the visuals were just really masterfully crafted along with a lot of his other recent music videos. I think he's doing a really good job and has made a really good decision to just focus on this one thing instead of forcing himself to put out shit he doesn't like. Although, not every artist has that. I mean, this is almost me projecting. Like, I can vaguely relate to this. I would want nothing more than to not have to feel like I have to talk about Logan Paul or Onision or bullshit drama videos or commentary videos or things that I am not particularly passionate about. I would love to just make music and make art. But with my situation and with most artist situations, you need to have some kind of financial backing. And for me, making the stupid drama videos ends up paying for those art videos and the music videos and the things that cost a lot of money and are high production, but not necessarily financially viable. And maybe someday people will like the art enough to where I won't have to make those videos, but Joji has found a way to do that, and it's kind of beautiful. But what do you think about the death of Filthy Frank and Pink Guy? Do you think he should just suck it up and make another Pink Guy, Pink Season Volume 2? Or do you respect his decision to be just Joji and only Joji? Do you think that's a little pretentious of him? Do you think that he's being ungrateful to his huge fan base that has been so loyal to him in the past? I mean, since the birth of Harlem Shake? Let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. Stay sad, but not too sad.
Yay.